Okay, let's start seated, please. Sit on some height. Now, if you are unable to cross your legs because of knee pain or hip discomfort, feel free to sit in Upavisthakonasana, straight legs, or feel free to sit in Virasana with your knees together and sit on your heels, or height in between the heels, whichever suits you. But if you have crossed your legs, I want you to change that cross leg so that you cross now the other one. And I'd like you to begin your attention now. Look at your knees, make them the same height as each other. Look at the thighs and make the thighs fall away from you. Now, some of you are going to be able to do this easily on the bolster or blanket. Some of you are going to be able to do it on the floor. It sort of depends on you and your situation. I want you to put your hands onto the bolster behind you, beside you, or the hands on the floor, or even hands on blocks or like this. But I want you to push down so that your chest lifts up. Okay. Keep your hands where they are. Keep this lift of the chest. Now, make the pelvis heavy. From the bottom rib cage, look here, right here at this bottom rib cage, from here, make heavy and drop. And from here, make light and lift. Externally, rotate the upper arms to broaden the collarbones and let the shoulder blades soften down. Okay, maintain all of these qualities and put the hands upon the thighs. Now, we are there in a very real way looking for this spaciousness between the dropping pelvis and the lifting rib cage. So I tell you what, everybody just stay there, just watch it, because it's best seen from the side. If I'm sitting in a cross-legged position and I lift my chest really a lot, which is really good, and I'm getting a good lift on the front of the body, but the back of the body decreases. The space between the bottom back rib cage and the top pelvis shortens. So this is what we want to notice so that we can incorporate space on the back body, just like we've incorporated space on the front and side bodies. Okay, so the way to really do that effectively, first of all, is to make the pelvis heavy. And you, okay, sit up straight, close your eyes. Put your mind behind you. Notice the top of the back pelvis. Is it lifting and going in, or is it back and going down? And you know what I would prefer? I would prefer you to move the back rim of the pelvis backwards and downwards. And then on the back of the body, lift that back rib cage up towards the ceiling. Now you have to put your mind in the back. You have to notice if the space on the front of the body is equal on the space of the back of the body. And I would venture to say that it is not. So you need to go there and fix that. You need to go into your body and create the lift of the bottom rib cage away, just as much in the back body as the front body. Then let your shoulder blades soften down the back and relax the jaw. Soften the eyes, the ears, the nose, the face. Okay, relax. Okay, let's sit in Baddha. Sit on some height. Bring the bottoms of the feet together, knees apart. If you've got a couple of blocks, they're very handy to have beside you, behind you. If you can reach back and put your fingers onto the floor without leaning back too much, that's all right too. You would like to position the hands so you can do the same thing we just did. Lift the rib cage away. Lift that bottom rib cage away. And right away, you start to notice that the front of the body is quite mobile, quite active, quite lifted, but the back of the body is not. Okay, so that just needs your mind. You need to put your mind in the back of the body and don't overdo it on the front. Be careful. drop the back pelvis, lift the bottom back rib cage up. I'm not saying not to lift the rib cage up. You've got to lift the rib cage up, but you just want to do it in a balanced way. Lift up, drop the shoulders. Okay, now keep this separation of the bottom rib cage and the top pelvis and begin pushing the heels together more. Now notice on the heel, are you pushing more on the outer heel or on the inner heel closer to the ceiling? Okay, I venture to say that you're probably pressing the outer heel more. I want you now to equalize that. So you're pushing the center of the heel into one another, not the outer heel. Then push the ball joints of the big toes into one another. Push the ball joints of the little toes into one another and lengthen the toes towards the camera. Okay, keep that firmness of the bottom of the foot. Okay, now either put your hands on the floor out in front of you, put your hands on blocks out in front of you, or if you got it, put your hands on the chair out in front of you. I guess my preference would be blocks or a chair, because stay there, but watch here. If I go down, I'm immediately losing that space between the rib and the pelvis, right? The front body shortened. So you want to position your hands so that the action of the hands contributes to the lift of the ribs. The action of the hands creates this separation. But again, you have to pay attention to the front of the rib cage, the back of the rib cage, and notice where is it not lengthened. Okay, stay here, and you'll notice the front body ribs sort of move outward. Stay where you are and draw the bottom front ribs backwards. Look here. So here I am out here, but you see this is poking out. Draw from these bottom ribs backwards, fill in your lower back, and at the top back of the pelvis, drop. At the top back of the pelvis, drop. So for the circumference of your abdominal, waist, lower back area, you're creating space. Okay, stay there. Now soften that space. Don't be rigid in the abdomen. Don't be rigid in the pelvis. Be soft and pliable. Be relaxed in your breath. Don't be strenuous, straining. But don't let your lower back jam forward. Keep that rib back. Keep this expansiveness. Now, you can observe this action on the physical skin. But I want you to observe this action from the diaphragm, the muscle that attaches to the inner bottom rib cages that controls your breathing. When you expand and widen and soften this diaphragmatic area, it feels better. You're more relaxed. You're more focused. You're smooth and soft. Find that smoothness and softness of breath, of abdomen. But it's not a lazy abdomen. It's lifted up. It's not a lazy sideways. It's lifted sideways. It's lifted up. It's ascending. Okay. Walk your hands back. Take your hands to the outer knees. Bring the legs up. Okay. Sit on one blanket in Upavista Konasana. So you got a blanket. You're going to fold it so it's about 1 inch tall, maybe 1.5 inches. You sit on just your sit bones and you make your legs wide. If you've got blocks, have them close at hand. Okay. Okay. So, watch you go Upavista Konasana. So the first thing that you want to do is make sure that just your sit bones are on the height and your thighs are in front of them. And then take your hands to the inner knees and pull your legs as far apart from one another as is comfortable. maybe comfort isn't the right word, as is possible. And then if it's too much of a strain, you back it up a little bit. This is where your own intelligence has to come to play. I can give you instructions. I can give you a series of postures. But you have to know when you start to do things if it's too much. You need to know when I start doing something am I not ready for that? I can do that in the classroom. If you're in front of me, I can help you with that. But at home, you have an additional responsibility of self-care. Okay, so I encourage you to first of all, take that responsibility, and especially at this time, to have a particular introspection of your practice. Broaden the toes. Have the bottoms of the feet as if you're standing upon a flat surface. Broaden the toes from one another. Roll your inner thighs down to the floor more than the outer thighs. Extend from the inner groin to the inner heel. From the outer heel, pull back so that the outer thigh muscle draws backwards towards the outer buttocks. You know that little indentation in the outer buttocks? Move that point in. Okay. Set your pelvis and legs in space and begin to look and observe at this abdomen, side waist, lower back region. Again, same thing we did in Baddha Konasana. First of all, make your pelvis level. There's a tendency to tilt the pelvis forward. Resist that. Make your pelvis level. Now make your pelvis heavy. Make your thighs heavy. Now with your hands, and you want to be careful here, because it's super easy to lift the front rib cage. But you sacrifice something when you do that. When you lift the front rib cage, the back rib cage shortens. It's no time to ignore that. So make the back pelvis heavy. Lift the bottom back rib cage up. Lift the side rib cage up. Lift the front rib cage up. Externally rotate the upper arms and drop the shoulder blades down the back. Now again, we've got this condition where the pelvis is heavy and dropping, and the rib cage in its circumference, front, back, and sides, are lifting up. Okay, maintain this position, please. And take your 2 blocks, or you can use the chair, hands on the chair here too. I'm not using the chair because you can see me better here. So it's not a matter of stay there, but watch here. If I just go forward blindly, right away, I notice my front abdomen gets short, it's constricted, it's not really what I want. I want to utilize my hands pushing down to lift my rib cage up. I want to utilize my thighs moving down to lift my rib cage up. Okay, I've got it. You get it. Now, keeping your mind on the relationship between the bottom rib cage and the top pelvis, you begin walking your hands forward. And you would like the rotation of the pelvis to be over the upper thigh bone. Your upper thigh bone would like to be stationary and stable. The ribs lifting up, the shoulder blades dropping down. Now, it's up to you. If you can keep this equality of space on the abdomen, the side waist, and the back body, you can walk your hands forward. If at any time this spaciousness gets diminished, don't go any further forward. Soften your face. Relax the jaw. Soften the breath. Walk your hands back. Keep the legs straight. Take your 2 blocks. Take your 2 blocks, place them on either side of the right leg. You can put the blocks flat, you can put the blocks medium, you can use the floor. If you don't have blocks, you can use the floor too. Got blocks, use blocks. Okay, so now push your hands down, lift your rib cage up, and start to rotate your belly button towards the center of the right thigh. Rotate your belly button towards the center of the right thigh. Draw your right rib cage back and left rib cage around. Now stay here and notice something. On the left side rib cage, it's taller than the right side rib cage. Push your right hand down, lift the right side rib cage, lift the right side rib cage, shorten the left side rib cage, rotate your belly button to face the center of the right foot. Okay, now keep that relationship. Keep that relationship and either put your hands on the blocks and walk your hands out towards that right foot or your hands on the floor. Either way is fine. Now, use your right hand onto the floor to lift your right rib cage up. Use your left hand on the floor block to bring your left rib cage around. And now move from the middle of the left rib cage to the middle of the right rib cage, lengthening the sides of the body. Lengthening the right side, shortening the left side slightly. Now stay here and put your consciousness on the upper left thigh. And you gotta contract. Move the upper left thigh bone down, down, down. Okay, walk your hands back. Square yourself up. Let's go to the left side. So, you gotta get your pelvis square under the blanket. Okay, don't go forward. Stay vertical, but start rotating. Rotate. And as you rotate to the left, notice how the relationship between the rib cage and the pelvis changes. That left side gets short and into the body. The right side gets long and poofs out. Bring the right side rib cage into the body. Bring the left side rib cage to the side, away to the left, so that the space between the top pelvis and the bottom ribs are more equal. Create that. Rotate. And then draw your belly button around to face the center of the left foot. Okay, maintain these qualities. And start to walk your hands out towards that left foot. But offer yourself the opportunity to lengthen the left side rib cage, shorten the right side rib cage, rotate around. Okay, get into your position. Then put your consciousness on the base of the upper right thigh and make the base of the upper right thigh heavy and drop it. Soften the face, relax the jaw, and breathe easy. Okay, come back to center. Square yourself up. Take your hands to the outer knees, bring the legs up in place. Okay, Virasana. Now, this is challenging for many of us with knees. But those of us with knee issues, it's way worse. So look at what I'm doing. I'm starting off with 2 flat blocks under my body. Okay, then I get on my knees. Now, you can have a lower height, of course. I know many of you are much closer to the floor, and that's cool. You know who you are. I'm on my hands and knees, and I walk forward, and I bring my knees together, and I put my feet on the outer edges of those blocks with the tops of the feet onto the floor and the bottoms of the feet facing the ceiling. Okay, now you can... I intentionally put a little bit more height under my butt just to give it good posture. I often do this in Virasana. I start high. It allows my knees to adjust. If I were to sit as low as I can right away, I'm not inviting my knees to be happy. I want my knees happy. Okay? So now, to whatever degree is comfortable for you, lower the block. But if it becomes too much of a strain, so I took one block out and I turned the first block to the medium height, which is just about right for me. You find your position. And if this is too much, go back to the first. If you don't have blocks, you can be on a bolster. Stay where you are. If you have a real knee issue, you can even do this posture on a chair, like so. Okay, so use your intelligence. Okay. Now, put your consciousness back on the feet, and you'll notice that the toes sort of tend to sickle towards the midline. So I'm taking my hands to the inner big toes. And I'm doing two things simultaneously. I'm pulling the big toe backwards towards the wall behind you, me, so that the toes are square to the wall. Okay, and I'm also, as I do that, I'm moving the outer ankles towards the inner ankles. So the line of the ankles is not shorter on the inner ankle, but it's even. This is about time where your arches are cramping. Certainly my right one is. That's all right, it's a little cramped, so it's not a big deal. Okay, broaden the toes from one another. Push the top of the little toe side of the foot down. Push the front of the ankle down. Push the front of the shin down. Not with your hands, but with your thighs. Drop the inner upper thighs. It might help to reach behind you and rotate the knees of the buttocks backwards to the side. Okay, now we're going to continue to look at this space between the bottom rib cage. You know what? I'm seeing something. I'm going to scoot a little forward. You might be able to see me. I'm just on the floor, I'm not standing. Okay, so here we go. This bottom rib cage wants to lift up. The bottom pelvis, or the top pelvis, wants to drop down. So we're looking at this band of the abdomen, side waist, and lower back. And what we're looking at more than this band is the relationship between the front of the band, the back of the band, the sides of the band, okay? Because it changes as we progress. Okay, so you know what we're going to be looking at. I want you to keep your eye there. Interlace your fingers. Extend the palms out in front of you. Go slow. If you go quick, you're not going to notice it. So slowly, bring the arms over the shoulders and notice how this band reacts. Notice how that rib cage wants to poof out to the side. As I go up, this wants to go forward. I need to resist this rib cage backwards, drop the skin of the buttocks, have my pelvis level, and as I extend my arms upwards, I want to extend my arms upward from this bottom rib cage. It is as if my arms are pulling from here, up, up, up. Let the shoulder blades lift. It's all right, it's not going to bother at all. Lift the shoulder blades, lift everything. Okay, now stay there, but look at the screen. I'm lifted the shoulder blade. So I want to keep this rib cage lifted, but I want the shoulder blades to descend. Look at this. Shoulder blades descend, and the rib cage is still lifted. Okay, keep that. Keep that. Keep that. And now rotate your outer armpits forward and shoulder blades down the back. Now, did that action of the upper shoulder blade throw your rib cage up? Resist, of course. Okay. Release the hands out in front of you. Change the interlace of the fingers again. So don't raise the arms up. You know what's going to happen. You know that when you bring your arms up, this relationship is going to be changed. I want you to stabilize the relationship of the rib cage and the pelvis and slowly bring the arms up. And then straighten the elbows. Now, it's a gross lift upward. amount of the rib cage and a heaviness of the pelvis. Do that. Then, keeping the back rib cage lifted, let the shoulder blades release down and rotate the outer armpits forward, biceps backwards. Okay, keep that lift. Release your arms. Put your hands onto the floor out in front of you. Lift up. Drop your shoulder blades backwards. Okay. Did you throw this rib cage forward when you did that? I did a little bit. I just noticed. Bring that bottom rib cage back. Make your pelvis heavy. Use the sit bones on the block as an anchor. Lift your rib cage away. Lift your rib cage away. As I walk my hands out, I'm pulling back slightly so my rib cage goes outward. Outward. Keep your buttocks heavy. Keep your buttocks heavy and put your hands out there to a comfortable position on the floor, not too low. Now, go back to this point of interest. Go back to that rib cage pelvis relationship. And the tendency is to let this ribs fall. Don't. Resist this rib cage back. Resist this rib cage back and specify the area between the pelvis and the bottom rib cage. Soften the face, relax the jaw, and breathe easy. Okay, walk your hands back. Okay, come onto your hands and knees, cross your ankles behind you, sit back behind crossed ankles, and extend your legs out. Okay, we're gonna get on our feet. Please stand up. Okay, I need you to see something here first. I'm gonna do a standing posture against the wall, and this is what it's gonna be. We're gonna be doing this posture Virabhadrasana 2, and you're gonna have the block right here, and this side of the block against the wall. So this is what it looks like from the back, like this, just on the right leg. Okay, so I need to go to a wall. If you don't have a wall, you can do this posture in the middle of the room, okay? But a block really helps. So make your feet wide. Standing pose width distance apart. I'm about 4 inches away from the wall. Now the block is in the furthest possible position. I turn my right foot out, and I put that block to touch the wall and my right buttock only. My right buttock only. Okay, get yourself set. Just put your hands in your hips. We're not going to raise the arms still. Okay, now stay here. Scoot the bent leg foot towards the wall, about an inch. Scoot the bent leg foot towards the wall so that the thigh is parallel to the wall. Now, put more weight into the back straight leg and move the front of the thigh backwards. Now, notice how this rib cage is slightly rotated. Bring the rib cage to square to the wall. Make the pelvis heavy and tuck the buttock that's touching the block. Try to move it away from the block. Try to make the block drop. Try to move the right knee towards the wall. Have the right buttock move away from the wall, right knee towards the wall. Square your ribs, lift your rib cage. Okay, release. Face your feet forward. Extra points if you drop the block. Okay, left foot out, right foot in. Take the block to the medium position. Excuse me, the furthest position, the furthest most position. And push it to, and touch the left buttock in Virabhadrasana 2, warrior pose number 2. So you put the block against the wall, you put the left buttock against the wall. Okay, good. Now walk your left foot towards the wall. So that the left knee goes to the wall, towards the wall. Now move, keep your left knee where it is, but move your left buttock away from the wall. Drop the block. Take more weight into the back right heel. Put your hands on your hips. Notice how the hips aren't square to the wall. Bring your right hip back, left hip forward without moving the knee. Keep this knee where it is. Now lift the rib cage, drop the pelvis, square the rib cage. Okay, good. Face your feet forward, come out, walk your feet back together again. Okay, be away from the wall. Have your feet wide. Turn your right foot out, left foot in. Raise the arms, lower the shoulder blades. Bend the right knee. Virabhadrasana 2. Same posture we just did, but the classical version. Look out over the right shoulder. Okay, square your rib cage. Okay, I want you to look at something. I want you to, first of all, create that action of the right buttock tucking under as if the block were there and the right knee going towards the wall. Then create the action of the left heel, heel pushing down on the left thigh back. Okay, I want you to go back now to this pelvis and rib cage alignment. Square your pelvis, lift the rib cage. Make it tall, make it long. Okay, then raise the arms and look out over the right shoulder. Now, put your consciousness into this band and lift the rib cage up and make this band of the abdominal, side, waist, and lower back even and symmetrical, which means don't throw your bottom ribs forward. Come up, second side, left foot out, right foot in. Square your torso, bend the left knee, Virabhadrasana 2 to the left. Imagine that blocks under your left buttock and tuck your left buttock under. Make your right knee, your left knee go towards the wall. Take more weight. Now, square your rib cage. Make your pelvis heavy. Lift this rib cage up and complete the posture. And have this stay there. Look out over the left shoulder. You want to look at the space in between the bones. You want to look at the abdominal cavity, side, waist, and lower back, and you'd like this space to be equal and even all the way across. Lift it up. Okay, good. Stand up, face your feet forward, walk the feet back together. Grab your chair. Put it in front of you with the seat facing you. I'm just turning sideways so you can see. Okay, just to hang out for a second and watch. If I just fall into the forward bend like this, I've lost this ability to create space in the rib cage, in this band. So what I want to do, as I go over, I want to put my hands up high first. And I want to engage the thighs and lift the rib cage up. And even here at 90 degrees, you can do this with your hands at the wall too if you don't have a chair. But notice how when you do this, those bottom front ribs drop a little bit. Lift where the diaphragm is, lift this bottom front rib cage up towards the ceiling. Now keep the relationship between the bottom rib cage and the top of the pelvis and lower your hands to whatever degree you're comfortable. But don't lose that ability to create space in between the ribs and the pelvis. Do a Uttanasana, be in a forward bend. Let the head go. Soften the face. Let your breathing be smooth and even. Okay, come on. Okay, turn your chair around to face me. Face the camera. Now, either have a couple of blocks next to you or another chair would work too. I'm going to have both of them. But if you don't have two chairs, just have those blocks. If you don't have blocks, don't worry about it. We'll work. Okay, scoot forward. So just your front sit bones on the chair. I'm nowhere close to the back of the chair. I'm on the very, very front edge of my sit bone. My legs are at a 90-degree angle. Okay, I widen my feet apart a little bit wider than hip-width distance apart. And I put my hands on these blocks. Now, right away I feel it. I can notice as soon as I put my hands down, this bottom rib flew forward and my lower and that bottom rib on the back pushed forward. I don't want that. And as a result of that, my pelvis lifted a little bit, rotated forward and lifted. So I want to fill in my lower back. And as I walk my hands forward, I want to keep the relationship between the pelvis and the bottom rib cage spacious. And I'm not looking to put my hands on the floor in between my feet. I'm looking to keep my blocks tall and walk my hands out as close to the center of the room as possible. Do that. Lower your head and put your ears alongside your upper arms. Draw that bottom rib cage up. Move the top rim of the back pelvis down upon the chair. Sink your upper inner thighs downward. Allow your pelvis to rotate over the head of the femur. Soften the face, relax the jaw. Now, in an ideal world, your abdominal cavity, your side waist, and your back rib cage are extended and spacious. Now, soften that space. Don't let that space be rigid. Okay, walk your hands back. Okay, walk your feet back, hips width distance apart. Pick up okay, be careful if you've got knee issues on this, okay? Just be careful. You have sharp knee pain in any of the next two postures, I will encourage you to go back to this posture, okay? Don't suffer knee pain. That being said, bend the right knee, take your hands behind the right knee, and let the right leg dangle. Let it relax. Now slowly close that gap up and close the knee joint totally. Okay, pick up the right foot, activate the right foot, extend through the inner heel. Now bring that right foot on top of the left thigh, like so. Now put the right heel on the other side of the left thigh. Now bring your right heel as close to your belly as possible. Touch that. Now put your hands onto the seat of the chair beside your buttocks. Roll your shoulders back and lift the chest. Now start leaning forward. Now some of you, if you've got the blocks handy, can put your hands forward on the blocks. Some of you might need a second chair. Second chair would be the best. Now, flex your right foot, extend through your inner right heel, and take care that that bottom front rib cage isn't falling out, falling forward. Bring it back. Okay, walk your hands back. Now, keep the knee joint closed when you exit the posture. Pick up, keep it closed until you put it down. Okay, second side. Grab behind the left knee, bend it, pick it up. Let the leg be somewhat relaxed though, don't be tense. Now, close the gap, the knee joint, totally, completely. Then pick up the left foot. Bring the left foot on the right thigh. Flex your left foot back towards you. Extend to the inner left heel. Now pick up that left heel and pull it as close to your belly as possible. This is good to have a little bit of extra here. That way you can touch your heel with your belly. Okay, now either blocks or chair out in front of you. Lift the rib cage. Keep that same relationship between the pelvis and the rib cage, and start sliding the chair forward or sliding the blocks forward or whatever you got going. You can even use your hands on a wall if you're facing the wall here too. Just be careful not to suffer any unnecessary knee pain, okay? Okay, good. Come up. Now take that leg. Keep the knee joint closed. Bring it back to center and lower. Okay. Now, stand up, please. You're going to need a chair, a wall, or a wall and 2 blocks. I'm going to demonstrate with a chair. So it's Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana, it's called. So watch here first. You're going to bend the knee, same thing we did before. You're going to put that heel up as close into the inner groin as possible. Front groin. You're going to leave that knee down. Now, if possible, you can leave your foot here. If you need to grab it, you can grab it. Okay, so let's do this, and then you're going to go forward onto the chair, or some of you can go lower. Some of you can go onto the floor or blocks. That's cool too. It's wise to have a chair though. Okay, stand about 3 or 4 inches away from the wall, maybe more, 6 inches. Lean your butt against the wall. Bend your left knee. Let's do this. Bend your right knee. Okay, pull it up really tight. Close the gap of the knee. Close that hinge. Now put the right heel on top of the left thigh and try to get your right knee facing the floor. Now, I just noticed something that relates to the class I taught last week or Tuesday. Don't let the outer left thigh jut out or hug that outer left thigh towards the midline. Now either keep your left hand on the right foot and put your right hand down, or if you can keep that foot there, put both hands down. Now flex your right foot, extend your right knee to the floor, but keep the back of your right pelvis level. Now if you are comfortable with it, you can bring the buttocks away from the wall and lift your ribs up. Lift your ribs up. Now it's the same criteria. I'm going to ask you to lower your hands to the floor, towards the floor, but keep that same extension of the rib cage away from the pelvis. Lower your hands to whatever degree you're comfortable. Activate the right leg. Don't let your pelvis be askew. Keep your pelvis level and keep the face soft. It's called Ardha Baddha, half lotus, half bound Padmasana posture. Okay, come on. Put that right leg down. Okay, lean against the wall. Bend the left knee. Grab behind the left knee. Really close that gap. Close the gap of the knee. This is a way to protect the knee. If you close the gap of the knee, close the hinges, it doesn't torque. Okay, now put the left heel on the right thigh. Have the left knee face the floor. Activate that left leg. Flex that left foot. Now, levelize the pelvis. Don't let the pelvis be askew. Now, if you can let go of that foot, let go of that foot. And go forward, either hands on blocks or hands on chair. Activate that left foot. Draw the toes of the left foot. Extend the left knee to the floor, but don't have the back of the pelvis level to the floor. Don't have the left hip drop. Okay, keep that. And now, keeping the extension on the bottom front rib cage, lower your hands down according to you. Either put them on blocks. Some of you can put the hands on the floor easily. That's cool. But if not, you got the chair there. Okay, good. Come on out. Lower that left leg down. Okay, you're going to stay at the wall. Make your feet 2 feet away from the wall. Make your feet as wide as a sticky mat. Put your hands onto the seat of the chair. You can put your hands on blocks. You can put your hands on the floor. But if you got a chair, use the chair. Slide that chair out in front of you. Don't go down. Go out. Slide out. Slide that chair out. And notice what happens to that bottom diaphragmatic rib cage. It sinks. And therefore, when this bottom diaphragm sinks, the lower back shortens and the pelvis comes towards you. No, move the pelvis away from you. Establish your sit bones on the wall. Lift that bottom front rib cage towards the ceiling. Expand, extend, spacify your lower back muscles. Soften your jaw, soften your face, relax the breath. Just gaze down to the floor. Your arms, your ears should be just alongside your upper arms. Your face is soft. Your abdomen is soft, spacious, but soft. Your face is relaxed. The breath is smooth. Okay, come on. We're going to do something else at the wall.
So you might or might not need your sticky mat. Okay, you're going to start
about 1.5 feet away from the wall with the feet wide in the typical standing pose width distance. Probably best to watch first. And I'm going to use a chair because the chair, the reason I'm using the chair, if I go less far in the posture, I'm able to get more rotation. If I go too far in the posture, I get less rotation. It's simple. If you want to work within a posture, you need to give yourself some, when I say within, I mean internally. You need to give yourself some space to do that. So if I were to do the traditional Parvita Trikonasana, I can do it. It's not a bad posture, but it's limiting, it's shortening. So that's why I'm using the chair. Okay, so my right foot's under the chair. I'm about 1.5 feet away from the wall. I put my left hand on the chair, and I put my right hand on the wall, and I look at the wall. Okay, let's everybody get in this position. Now, if you don't have a chair, you can put your left hand on a block. If you don't have a block, you can put your left hand on your right shin. Okay. Parvita Trikonasana. From here, stabilize the legs, go forward, put your left hand on the chair, shin on the block, put your right hand on the wall, look at the wall. Now, I'm asking you now to put your attention on this bottom rib cage again. And I want you to again differentiate between the pelvis and the rib cage. The pelvis does not move. Don't move your pelvis. And you keep your pelvis stable by the action of the legs. But from the stability of the pelvis, you want your bottom rib cage to be super twisty, super active. Rotate your bottom right rib cage back, draw the left rib cage towards the wall, but bring the right side of the belly button back, bring the left side of the belly button to the wall. Bring your right shoulder back, bring your left shoulder to the wall. Try to square your shoulders to the wall. Now, go back to that space between the top of the pelvis and the bottom rib cage and lengthen it. Extend it towards the crown of the head. And soften the face and relax the jaw and breathe easy. Okay, good, come on. Take that chair to the left side. Bring your left foot out, right foot in. Square yourself to the chair. Stabilize the legs, stabilize the pelvis. Go forward, put your right hand on the chair. Put the left hand on the wall. Okay, look at the wall. Now, notice this bottom band, rib cage, abdomen, or the bottom, the abdomen, the waist, and the lower back. And lengthen that space. Now differentiate between the stability of the pelvis and the mobility of the rib cage. So stabilize your pelvis by driving the feet down. Be firm in the legs. Then rotate your pelvis yet more. Rotate your rib cage yet more. Rotate your left rib cage back, right rib cage towards the wall. Left rib cage back, right rib cage towards the wall. Then extend and lengthen that rib cage away from the pelvis. Soften the face, relax the jaw, and breathe easy. Okay, release, come on up the posture. Make your feet parallel, hips width distance apart. Go forward to Uttanasana. Just go all the way up, down and over. Equalize your back. If you need blocks, use blocks. Be in Uttanasana, we call it. Okay, push your feet down and come up. So, one of two things. Either headstand, not headstand, shoulder stand, or legs up the wall with the bolster. I'm going to be doing shoulder stand so you can watch me. If you know what you are doing, do it. If you need suggestions or if you're not sure of what you're doing, watch me. So I folded my sticky mat and I scooted it towards the wall. And I'm going to release 3 blankets folded in this dimension with the nice, neat, folded edge facing the center of the room, away from the wall. Okay, then I flip the sticky mat over and I scoop the sticky mat setup about a foot away from the wall because I want to use the wall to walk up. Okay, then I put my shoulders on the blanket like so. I put my feet on the wall. Then my shoulders are on, my head and neck is off, and I start to push the feet into the wall to pick up the pelvis. Okay, now I want to keep my feet in the wall and push my feet into the wall to pick up the pelvis, Then I interlace the fingers behind me. I tuck my shoulders under. I bend my elbows and support my back with my hands. Now I'd like to keep the pelvis where it is and straighten the legs towards the ceiling. Now, if your pelvis collapses towards the wall, just keep your feet on the wall. Stay there. I'm coming out so I can more easily talk to you. So be in shoulder stand. Look at yourself. Look at how the pelvis wants to move towards the wall. Bring your pelvis away from the wall. Have a vertical line between the top of the shoulders of the pelvis and the feet. Have the bottoms of the feet as if you were on a flat surface. Broaden the toes from one another and extend your heels upwards. Push your shoulders downwards. Soften the face. Okay, we have a theme today. The theme is the relationship between the bottom rib cage and the top of the pelvis, which is now reversed, right? You're upside down. And you'll notice that front of the abdominal cavity is shortening. The lower back is lengthening. So, bring yourself to a position of neutrality. Bring the bottom front rib cage on the bottom back rib cage forward towards the front rib cage. Lift your pelvis to the ceiling to create an equal space between the bottom rib cage and top pelvis. Soften your tongue. Relax your jaw. Let your breathing be smooth, soft, and even. And just stay here for another minute. you're remaining in the posture, but is the posture losing something? You have to notice that. You have to notice if during the duration of time that you stay in a posture, is it less than it was to begin with? If it is so, if that is so, how can you retrieve that thing that used to be? How can you retrieve that initial feeling? That's your job. One more minute. You know, a lot of times staying in a posture isn't about physical fatigue or physical tiredness. It's in our minds. It's our mind wants to give up. Our mind gets tired of staying. Notice if that's the case for you. Is it your mind that wants to come out now, or is it your body that wants to come out? Doesn't matter. Come out now. Come all the way up. Put your feet on the wall. Release your hands. Lower your buttocks. Now scoot back so your shoulders are on the floor behind you. Let your shoulders be on the floor behind you and let your arms go to the side and relax. So this is an important point in yoga, because the reason that we're doing the yoga is to modify our thinking. So we need to notice if in a posture, is our thinking the problem or is the body the problem? And I don't mean that in a problem sort of way. Is our thinking controlling us or is our body controlling us? Is our preconceived ideas controlling us or is the current reality of today's world real? So it takes observation to know whether it's a body need or a mind need. If it's a body inclination or a mind inclination. Bend your knees, roll to the side, and sit up. Okay, let's say that I'm in a posture, like shoulder stand, and I notice that, hey, I want to come down. Then I start to think, well, am I muscularly fatigued? Well, no, not really. Am I constricted and not being able to breathe? No, not really. Then why you want to come down? Well, I just want to come down. That's your mind. If I'm in that yoga posture and my arms are just so fatigued that they're falling asleep, my shoulders are sore, my pelvis is sagging, my legs are sagging, I'm just fatigued, that's muscle. Come down. It's all right to come down. Just know the difference. If I'm in Sarvangasana, shoulder stand, and I can't breathe, my breathing is short, which is not an uncommon condition in shoulder stand. My breathing is impacted. If I can't fix that posture, I want to go back and back it up and create an environment where I breathe. Or is it because of my breath that I want to come out, my mind that I want to come out, or my body that I want to come out? Each of us have to answer that question on our own. Sit on a blanket, extend the legs out in front. Have a belt close at hand. Grab your left, drop it to the side. If you need some support under that outer left thigh, please do so. Grab behind the right body, bring it behind. Now put your hands on the floor beside you. And same thing as before, lift up. We're working that same area. This bottom rib cage relative to the pelvis. Okay, notice something. Your left hip and your left rib cage are back. Fix that. Bring your left hip well. To fix that, you bring your right hip back. See what I'm doing? The straight leg, I pick up my butt and I pull it back. So my pelvis is square to the screen. Okay. Then I put my fingers onto the floor and I push down. And I want to lift this rib cage up once again, but the same thing happens. When I lift up, this bottom rib cage is thrown forward. So resist this bottom rib cage backwards. Drop the skin of the buttocks and walk your hands towards the foot. But don't reach out and grab the foot. Now, notice if when you went forward, the abdominal wall got shortened. With your hands onto the floor, fingertips pull backwards and lift that bottom front rib cage away from the belly button. Get the belly button to point towards the floor. Lift up and walk your hands forward, but don't grab the foot. Now stay here and notice again that band, that waist band. Lengthen the right side waist, shorten the left side waist, bring the right side waist back, left side waist around so that you create that environment of equality, of balance all around. I'm not trying to get my hand on the floor. I'm trying to create a balanced organic body. I'm trying to create a symmetry in my torso. I can stretch my hamstrings later. I'm more interested in my organic body. Now stay here, lift your ribs away from the pelvis, drop the shoulder blades, and go to wherever you're comfortable in Janu Shirshasana. Walk your hands back. You take your left hand to the outer left knee, bring it back. Grab behind the right knee, bring it back, drop it to the side. Put that support over there. Square your rib cage to the left foot, lift up. Draw your left rib cage back, right? You know where we're going, right? Pay attention here, and you know you don't need to listen to my instructions. If you pay attention to this area and equalize and balance, the instructions are not from me. The instructions that you need to do are in you if you pay attention to what needs to happen. I'll just let you do it. Your goal is an evenness between the top rim of the pelvis and the bottom rib cage. Because every time you do something, this area is affected. Adjust yourself so there's a balance here. Soften the shoulder blades from the ears and let your breathing be smooth, soft, and even. Okay, walk your hands back. Bring your right leg up and up. Bend your left knee. Pick up the left foot off of the floor. Take a block to the medium position, put it on the outer right thigh, on the floor on the outer right thigh. Pick up your left foot. Close the gap. Activate that left foot. Bring that left foot over the right thigh. Put that left outer ankle on the block. Get your left knee to face forward. Now, if you have knee pain in this posture, you go back to Janu Shirshasana to the side. Okay. Now put your hands onto the floor on the outer knees. Now, if you want to use a belt, you can use a belt. But I find that my hands on the floor gives me good feedback. I lift up. Now I'm looking at that band again. I'm looking at the relationship of that band, and I would like that band to stay in relationship with one another as I walk my hands forward. Walk your hands forward. Now, with your hands on the floor, slightly pull backwards and lift that bottom front rib cage away from the pelvis. Rotate the belly button more to face the floor and soften the face. Ardha Baddha Paschimottanasana. Half lotus forward bend, basically. Okay, come on up. Bring the left leg out in front of you. Take the block, place it on the floor on the outer upper left thigh. Bend your right knee completely. activate that right foot. Pick up that right foot, bring the right heel towards your belly button, and bring the outer right foot to rest on the block to the side. Of course, those of you who know the posture, if you don't need the block, if the thigh doesn't bother you so much, you can put the outer ankle on the thigh. That's the classical posture. But now put your fingers onto the floor and lift your chest. And again, not only create balance, but as you walk your hands forward, you're creating space. You're pulling the hands backwards and lifting that bottom front rib cage outwards and walking your hands forward and keeping the activity of the right leg. Now just beat it. Soften the face, relax the jaw. Good release coming up. Keep your bent leg bent. Put it onto the floor and straighten it out in front of you. Reach behind you. Rotate the knee to the buttocks. Activate the legs. Make your feet hips width distance apart. Put the fingers up to the floor in front of you. Now, don't go forward, don't go down yet, just go a little forward. Now, if you pull your hands backwards, you can move this rib cage forward. So as you walk your hands out, continually pull your hands back and extend out and walk your hands towards your feet, but don't grab the feet. Now notice if that bottom front rib cage is dropped. Notice if that band is of equal dimension. Now, go into the full posture, just to where you're comfortable. Okay, come on. Shavasana, lay back. Put a blanket behind your head and neck. If you'd like a bolster behind your knees, please feel free to do that. Oh, stop. I want to change that. I got about 9 minutes. I want to do some pranayama. So when you lay back, have a blanket that's folded. So you can lay back down the blanket with a little bit of a chest lift. Just not a big height, just a little chest opening with the second blanket for the head. And lay back on this. You know, you guys have all been in my class when you do pranayama. So you want your buttocks on the floor out in front. You want to lay back on that blanket centered, and you want the second blanket for the head. And if your lower back is bothersome, you can certainly put a bolster behind the knees. Lay back and relax. Close your eyes, please. Relax. Soften the eyes. Relax the mouth. Relax the jaw. Soften the breath. Make sure that your lower back is not arched too much. If you need to, pull the skin of the buttocks towards the heels. Just watch your breath. The word watch. No, just feel your breath. But in your feeling, you see, you perceive, you touch, you taste. You use your senses of perception to perceive your breath. Make that breath soft. Make that breath smooth. And make that breath consistent. I don't want you to think of just listening to the breath or watching the breath. I want you to utilize all of your senses to experience the breath. Notice how the skin moves. Notice how the bones move. Notice how the muscles move. Notice how the tongue moves when you breathe. Notice how the eyes move when you breathe. Notice how the ears react when you breathe. Notice what the skin feels like when you breathe. Don't confine your perception. Expand your perception to observe the breath. Normal breathing. No extra breathing. But the normal breathing has a tone and timbre of extreme smoothness and softness. Smooth and soft and even and consistent. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Shariresya Chilaijikena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatos Abahu Parushakaram Shankechakrasi Dadi Sahasrashu Samsvetam Namami Patanjalim Hari Om. Everyone acknowledge the spirit that lives within us all. Keeping your eyes soft, slowly open. Bend your knees, roll to the side and sit up, please. Namaste.